Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube session. Uh, this YouTube video will try to put forward a concept of redefining infrastructure management with the help of generative AI. A new term I'm trying to coin is infrastructure as text. So the original article link, I'll make it available the bottom of this YouTube video. So I'll not go through the concept a lot, what it is trying to achieve. I'll simply try to demonstrate a very simple uh, implementation. It's very simple, but it will walk you through the idea. It's not a novel idea. Uh, Concept-wise, it is much closer to AutoGPT, but it's in very basic form. So naturally, when I'll make some sorts of advancement, I'll publish this as a public repo, and I'll update the YouTube video with the link of that too. But today in these sessions, I'll walk you through the environment I created to do this demo that might be helpful for a lot of folks who try to maintain a development environment clean with the use of Docker to use various different environment without making them conflicting in the host environment itself. So that will be relatively short, and then I'll try to show you a small demo with the help of a GPT4 model, that how you can simply keep some text, a prompt library with the help of a meta prompt. How can you combine all this and finally achieve a desired state? Okay, so what is infrastructure as a text, how it can abstract infrastructure as a code, all those details and the point of and various other points available in the article itself. So this is only for the demo purpose. So first of all, this particular project has a few folders. Now the main folder which I'll focus will be tools underscore environment. So under this I do have one folder which is build environment. What basically I'm trying to do here is that my host environment is Ubuntu, and that has KVM, and that KVM do use libvirt for the virtualization, and this is a virtual machine manager. It is like VirtualBox, but VirtualBox is a type 2 hypervisor, and KVM, we all know, it's a type 1 hypervisor. So it is much more lightweight and it's much more faster than VirtualBox. So this is the only tool along with Python and Visual Code available to my host environment. There may be some other things, but mostly these are the three main tools available at the host. Now my build environment, where I try to my build environment should be able to run Terraform to provision virtual machine based on KVM, as well as it should also try to configure itself with Ansible so that I can do configuration management. But at the end of this video, you'd understand this is not about Ansible. This is about how we can automate the configuration management process. Just a small demo with generative AI. Now, if I can just go through this particular Docker file, you would understand it's basically trying to use the Ubuntu latest as the base image, and then it's doing it's actually configuring it for Ansible and Terraform. Then it's using installing net tools. It is in Netcat, Python 3. Now Fabric is a tool which can be used in place of Ansible to do configuration management in a flat manner. Flat manner means it's very easy to use Fabric to execute Linux command. And OpenAI, we know this OpenAI encapsulate OpenAI API usage. And there are some certain other stuff. Basically, I'm copying the Ansible source code, Terraform source code, as well as the image itself. This image basically going to be used to generate a VM in the KVM itself. And then the container will run with the bash script, and it will fire the Terraform init and will keep the bin bash active, so that I can interactively work in this build environment. And then this build environment will target the KVM environment and provision a VM. So the Terraform script, a very simple script which is keeping the state locally. This is actually binded with the container, so it keep the state in this folder here, but it also binded through a volume with the container. It using provided as lib IaT so that it can work with KVM, as well as these are very standard KVM modules, I would say. I also have a TPL file where I keep this information. So this particular cloud init, do try to add a user with the name admin. There is no password to authenticate. It is using SSH authorized key. If I just simply go to the Terraform script, you would understand that I'm supplying this particular SSH public key so that it gets configured in the guest VM. And yep, so that's pretty much everything. Now, once we provision this machine, I want to configure that machine with some softwares and tools, and I would see like how generative AI can do that automatically. Now, this demo will raise a lot of questions, open-ended questions. Purpose of this demo is not to address that. And myself trying to standardize the entire process, which makes sense and practical. But this is just a throw-up idea. I just wanted to get some feedbacks from the community, see like how this works. Is it has any potential to it? There are a lot of security concerns. There are other concerns which I'm trying to articulate in the article itself. So please go through that article. But let's try to provision this machine at first. So if I'm going to, right now I'm in this particular folder, so naturally I am going to build this particular Docker file. So it's done, and then I'm going to run this. Now this is a bit interesting. So I'm running it in interactive mode so that I can log into this container and do stuff. I'm using host network mode so that it can ping or connect to the host machine as well as any other VMs in the host. Then I am passing my OpenAI org and OpenAI API key as an environment variable to the container. I'm also trying to copy the SSH keys and the public key itself. I do not need the public key, but I want to do some operations from inside the container itself. Then I'm also copying the Python script which is supposed to do the configuration management. So here I'm not using Ansible, though this build environment do have Ansible. Now these are virtualization related variable you need to pass, so that from inside container you can connect to the IaT library socket, and pretty much that's it. And yes, I'm also volume binding my state file, so that the state created through the Terraform deployment can be kept intact between the container's life cycle. So this is very solid. So as you see, so my work directory is Terraform, so it directly allowing me to log in into the Terraform folder where I have all the Terraform script, and it already ran the Terraform init for me. So what I need to do, I just need to run. So I'll just, for the sake of clarity, I'll show you that cloud initialization file as well as main TF are there, and this state folder, this particular state folder is actually this state folder, this state folder. And why I do not need to specifically mention it with Terraform apply, that because I'm already actually keeping the backend. I already specified that this is my place. So this path is actually binded with this particular path in my project space. So if I just do a Terraform apply, it shows what are the things it's gonna create, and those are definitely as defined in the Terraform. So basically it's going to create a disk, it's going to create a domain, it's going to create the VM altogether. Now there is a issue with this script. So it's not going to get the IP address instantly, no matter even if I have output block here, it will take some time to get that IP assigned, and somehow I'm not able to make my script wait till the IP address is getting assigned. So I have to run this 2 times, even if I'm trying to sleep for 90 seconds for that. So anyway, so let's see. So I'll make this portion of time quick. Yes, so if I just run it second time, so this is the IP address for the VM. And if I just open this one, check this VM is running. So this is good. What I'll do, I'll just copy this and I'll go to this, and I'll copy paste this on this IP address. Now let's get into this particular script. It's not really small, but it will make you understand what the core concepts are. So first of all, implementations of OpenAI is pretty easy. It's like it is self-explanatory. Okay. Fact that I have GPT4 API access, that because I acted promptly and I requested for GPT4 API, so I have it. I would expect most of you have it by now. If not, go check OpenAI website, stand in the line, you'll get it eventually. So now, try to understand a scenario. You are working for an organization which has a core excellency team, and they're faced with a challenge that there has to be some organization level compliances, a new addition to the organization level compliances should be in place. Everyone on board, chief technology officer also voted for the same. You published a Confluence library which get published to your internal wiki. Now with that organization level compliance mandate, all the aspect of your DevOps operations, provisioning, maintenance, as well as decommissioning of infra asset will start flagging non-compliance, right? Now, that's a that's a regular that's a very regular day-to-day operation for any technology-oriented company. But the problem is from the ideation, approval of a particular guideline to implementation for any enterprises, no matter uh, even if you introduce generative AI, it's not like it's gonna expedite that route overnight. But the concept is a fine-tuned model which you have customized and continuously feeding on your internal organization data. Obviously, there are a lot of security aspects to consider. I won't be going through that. I'll try to capture that in my article. But think about it. Either it's a model like GPT4 or maybe a customized model, relatively small, which continuously fed on your internal articles, which understand your high-level objective, low-level objective, and it also keep tracks of your current state of affair. Means it can feed on cloud. If your infrastructure built on top of a cloud, let's say it's a cloud, it's not on-prem, right? Now that has its own observability stack, own monitoring stack, and that in a centralized way provide a lot of data, so that can be analyzed in an intelligent way, and you know what is the current state of affairs, right? So it can constantly compare these two, the versions, ideal versions which you have in your wiki and the versions you have right now, and it can compare and find out where the gap is. Now everything you can do based on text. Now when you are doing it based on text, basically you are getting a library of prompts or text-based asset which across the board everyone can understand. It's not a technology specific, it's not skill specific, it's only objectivity specific. That means your existing resources who do not have a specific skill set or require upskilling, they can express a desired state based on their understanding and their partnership with the company for long. And the new resources who are getting on board, they can also understand the objectivity and they can translate that into infrastructure as a code, or maybe implementation of generative AI will enable that the prompt itself generating, which is pretty easy. We are nowadays we are using the same concept in GitHub Copilot, or there are Code Whisperer from AWS, a lot of other ways. It's not it's not a novel idea, but the thing is the idea of keeping your infrastructure as a text, which make your underlying infrastructure as a code layer redundant. It's a very powerful thought process. It's a very powerful idea. You're saving a lot of money. You are not stuck with a specific technology provider. You can make your underlying IaC replaceable with any new shiny tool which makes sense. Now, if you see, the prompt library can actually capture what you want to do with a new Ubuntu server. These are an array of prompts you can keep in a text. Now, you can scale it. This repo, this code is not addressing enterprise level concerns, which is obvious because this is just a demo. But this library of prompts can be kept such a way that it can actually scale itself, you can fine tune itself. And the meta prompt basically represents that when this generative AI model has idea about your organizational level, high level objectives, which it can parse through different Confluence library for only Ubuntu server, that what are the various 1,000 articles been written in the last 10 years? What is the latest one? What are the issues so far? and it can actually articulate that. Now it's a very high, wild idea, I understand, but there is this possibility. So this meta prompt basically align Gen AI that what I need and how I need based on this infrastructure. So if you see this one, this meta prompt basically adding or adjusting the prompt with the prompt library, and this basically a for loop which goes through this prompt, and it actually try to access the newly created VM, and with the help of Fabric, it actually executing all the command it's need. So let's try to run this. So the output itself will explain that what's happening. So let's take a moment. Now this script, the final prompt for the final full prompt with the meta prompt and the prompt itself is something like this. Given the instruction, configure firewall for a secure web server on Ubuntu. This is the first one. Make sure to keep the SSH port open. Provide, now this is again part of meta prompt. Provide a sequence of Linux command to execute this task on an Ubuntu server. Make sure to update apt package manager at the beginning of the sequence, but do not upgrade. Make sure all the command can be run unattended. Add apt auto remove at the end of the sequence of command. Response should only contain commands, no other text which are not commands. Now it's successfully given me, and it's not like this is a one-shot opportunity, because no one gonna trust this model of work in the production. But try to understand, in the non-prod environment where you can feed this output to the GenAI once again, that means you are creating a sequence of thought process, chain of command, and until unless all this command execute itself successfully, it will try to fix itself. So unattended, you are implementing desired state objectivity without using a human resource. Now once it's been done, you can ask them to generate the command with Ansible or any other sorts of configuration management language. It doesn't matter. But if your quality team capable enough to comprehensively check and test and balance the expected outcome, then your farm to table process can be minimized at the development level. It will save cost, it will save time, it will also save boredom of repetitive work, right? So now if I simply say yes, it will obviously try to implement that in the target server, destination server. So that part is over. Now again, the second prompt, given the instruction install and optimize Apache PHP MySQL stack for web server on Ubuntu, that is the second prompt. Again, the meta prompt. Now in this case, I'm not dynamically changing the meta prompt, but you see the possibility. If you have a defined template for Apache PHP MySQL, defined way of securing it, everything can be fetched or aggregated from different Confluence articles you maintain in your organization, and it can articulate that. Now in every aspect, in every step, this final prompt can be peer reviewed and approved long before you are starting doing this development. So anyway, in this case, it is trying to install Apache, MySQL, PHP libraries, all the uh, required thing it require, and also it is actually restarting Apache 2. And so if I just go ahead and do yes, well, this is the last prompt where I'm saying that check and confirm Apache PHP MySQL stack is running properly on Ubuntu. Right? So it is actually trying to check the status MySQL. Now, this is relatively a simple scenario, but combining this, now you have to remember it is only acting on few Linux command. Combine this idea with established infrastructure as a code layer beneath it. So I'm not trying to replace infrastructure as a text with infrastructure as a code with infrastructure as a text. What I'm simply saying that infrastructure as text can be proven useful abstractions over infrastructure as a code, right? So if I simply do yes, it's letting you know that yes, all these services are working fine. Let's do something live. All those things has already been tested a couple of times. So let's do something which I have never tried, right? Now, once all these uh, Linux command got executed correctly, your server is configured. This is a isolated sandbox kind of scenario. You are happy with the outcome. You generated a lot of unit test cases for this configured environment. Let's say you want to implement the Ansible, you want to use Ansible to do these configurations. Now you know this, all these commands are required to achieve the desired state. So why can't we just simply go to our prompt, meta prompt, and rather tons of Ansible commands to execute this task on Ubuntu server at the beginning of the sequence, but server Ansible will take care. So this is also not required. Let's see how this plays out. I'm not going to run the Ansible uh, command, but I'd like to see how it plays out. So I'm making the changes to my code and it should be available to the container. because it's already been mapped. So let me check. Okay, it's all good. So I'll simply good. So for the first task to configure secure web server on Ubuntu, it gives me the Ansible command. So I'll just say no because I do not want to execute this. Okay. So this one is install and optimize Apache PHP. So let's see. Yes, it came up with a perfect comments. Optimizing Apache and PHP settings. Enable custom Apache configuration. There's doing some sorts of tuning. There's also doing some sorts of tuning here for PHP. And it's providing some more output, which we can keep in mind. But anyway, all this script going to be peer reviewed, tested, battle tested, if I may say so. Can manage to get to a process where it will fit to itself. In case of an error, it can check for a fix and it can continue itself until unless it makes perfect sense. So this time it's about checking whether all this MySQL stack is running, PHP MySQL stack is running or not, and it's basically nailed it. Now, this is just a baby step, it's just a demo, it's just a new idea. Please do let me know how you think about it. What are the concerns? What are the way it can be improved? It's just a concept right now. This demo I do not even consider as an implementation. I just thought to put it forward so that I can get some more feedback. I'll be really happy if you can, comment uh, and make your suggestions. Thank you.